Hey guys, it's Kevin with Spirit of Twilight. I'm gonna be wrapping some jewelry today, but I'm gonna be doing it in solid sterling silver wire. And I got some new stones this weekend, so I'm gonna be wrapping maybe one or two of these stones. You can see I got a beautiful turquoise and a little bit of um, tiny little. Let me to pull it out. It's really pretty. And then I got some shark teeth, which as we know are for good luck. There is the flat turquoise piece. Very pretty. And then also, I can never remember the name of this stone, but it is for good luck. I'm not going to be robbing this one because it's definitely not wearable. It's too sharp. So I'm going to put these away. And then from one of my suppliers, I was actually at MegaCon this weekend. I got some beautiful, beautiful clear quartz, absolutely gorgeous points. So I'm going to be wrapping one of these or two of these today while I have you guys here. And most of my wire comes from Rio Grande, if you can see it, because the light is really bright. Let me change that. Go from Rio Grande. And that's where I normally order my sterling silver wire from, just because I've been using them for quite a long time. So I'm gonna do is start with one of these, and I'm gonna start with this one. So let's put these others away. So I was at MegaCon this weekend with my husband, and we had a really good time. Parking was a little bit of an issue, not just for me, but for everybody. And don't mind if you hear a fan in the background. It's well into the 90s down here in Orlando, so yeah, it's a little warm. So I have 18 gauge 9.925 sterling silver wire, and I'm going to be using my 22 gauge round wire as well. I'm going to use this one instead. Hold on one moment. This is smaller. I'm going to go with a finer wire this time. So this is probably a 24 or 25th gauge. So I'm going to pull a good 4 or 5 feet of that and clip it off. Get my wires out of the way. Again, this is just going to be a basic wrap, nothing intricate, nothing too fancy. But I always love wrapping with sterling silver. It's just, it is so gosh darn expensive. It really is. Especially if you're just beginning, it's very expensive to use because if you do happen to make a mistake or if you get a kink in your wire, fortunately there's no coming back from that, and you may have to cut it unless you can flatten it. But I'm just going to go ahead and crimp that on there really quick. And I'm starting off in the midsection of the 18 gauge wire, like so. And I'm going to pull my camera down a little bit. There we go. So you guys have a better close up of what I'm doing. I know the other video that I just did, I did not do that, and I apologize. But I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing this time. So I wrapped one wire, and I'm adding my second wire right next to it. So I'm gonna wrap this around a few times. Let's do 3 times. We'll do 3 times there. And keep this as straight as you possibly can. Go. And then we're gonna add our third wire. Again, keeping everything close to the midpoint as you possibly can. And I just lost that for some reason. I did not wrap that correctly. Pull it around again. Go, that's 3. Back here, pulling away the first one. But as far as MegaCon was concerned, it was a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of cosplayers in their costumes and support a lot of artists who do those type of cosplays. But my husband is more of a fan of cosplay and anime, so on and so forth, than I am, which perfectly fine by me. I still have a really, really good time because, again, there are some crafters at the show, and I got to meet some people who sell crystals so I can make jewelry, and I gave them my cards. So I got to be able to network with people. It was really nice. It really was. This one again. So I'm just wrapping this a few times so I can create my bail. And I'm trying to get into MegaCon for next year in 2023, which apparently they're doing over spring break. And if you have been to Orlando around that time, or if you have been to MegaCon, you'll know that it can be very busy. Even during spring break time, it's absolutely insane down here in Florida. People come from all over the country to enjoy themselves during their spring break, whether they're in high school or if they're in college or what have you. So it does get a little hectic for the locals down here. And big crowds all the time. So you gotta be really careful. Because unfortunately, we're not the safest place on earth, like many people think in Orlando. Excuse me. I'm just gonna wrap this a couple more times. Get this all steady. Go. This is all pushed in together, all nice. Now, the last video I did was for the giveaway. You still have time to enter if you want to enter the giveaway for the tarot card deck and also the 3 pieces of handmade gifts that I made. So if you're still interested, by all means, go ahead and register, which is by liking this channel, commenting what you love about spring or summer on the video, and follow me on Twitter and or Instagram, which is at Zemmaju for both social media sites. I'm just about done making my bail, and this does take a little bit longer because I am using a smaller wrap wire than I normally do, and that's okay. It makes the piece look more intricate, more professional. And I tend to like that a lot more, especially my clients who order from me. I do have an order to make, but I'm waiting for my client to get back to me based on a stone approval before I take any steps further in producing any type of jewelry. But my recent client, who's also a personal friend, he gave his piece to his mother and she loved it. So he's ordering another two pieces from me. And again, I'm just waiting for that approval to go through. But in the meantime, I'm just making these so I can put them on my website, spiritofTwilight.com. And I've been trying to get into local events to sell pieces live in person. Unfortunately, I'm finding them already booked or nobody's really having one. So that leaves me with my website, and I really like people to look at the pieces in person. As a matter of fact, the friend who's ordering the additional two pendants from me, he came over to the house, and that's how he saw my work. He's never actually seen my work in person because he is very busy with his lifestyle as a teacher and trying to keep up with his kids and the grades and all that other happy stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of disheartening that I can't get out there into the world, into the wild, if you would, and show off my pieces like I normally like to. But hopefully I can do some events soon here in Orlando and or Central Florida, including Tampa. We used to live in Tampa, and I love Tampa. It's beautiful. We just moved here because my husband got a job that required him to move to a more central location of Florida, so we decided on Orlando. But let me straighten this out. This is getting a little too kinky for me. And I got a kink. Yay. There we go. Okay, back to it. So, let's do two more wraps. Just on the safe side with the bail. Now this is I'm using 3 base wires of 18 gauge sterling silver, and you could use more. You could use 2 if you wanted to, but I wanted to get a stronger base for around the stone. So that's why I chose to use 3 wires instead of just 2. Because 2 you can wrap really, really quickly when you have they call it dead soft wire, which is pretty much very malleable. Any way you want it to go, it'll go. This one, I think it's half hard, which is a little harder to work with. So keep that in mind if you go looking for wire or try to make your own jewelry. But this is the starting point. Here we go. This is going to be the bail. So I learned from my last live session here on YouTube and from my last video that it is probably a better idea to use a pen to create your bail. So I'm just taking one of my pens that I use for my bullet journal. Actually, let's get something a little bit thinner. This is for my bullet journal videos and bullet journal that I maintain. And we're just going to move this around. Wow, that is really strong. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. That is a lot stronger than what I anticipated it to be. So out in the middle of everything and get this curled in like it's supposed to. Okay. And that would be our bail. It's a little oblong or a little looking just because of the wire I'm using is very sturdy. And again, this is half hard. It's not dead soft like I normally use, which is okay. Not causing too much of a problem, but it's definitely harder to use as far as manipulating the wire to do what you want it to do. Okay, so I'm going to move these apart a little bit. And I'm going to take my stone and just see where I'm at with the stone. Okay. And as you notice, I did wrap around every wire that I have here. So that will be solid at the base. I'm going to move that around this way and push that on the back of the stone. This is just to get a better shape or better idea for my wrapping. I'll take that out. And this is actually a raw, I believe it's called a luminary clear quartz. It's perfectly clear, so it's very beautiful. Very, very nice stone. I was very happy I came across it. Alright, so let's start making our designs. The stone itself. So let's just wrap this once around here. Just to anchor the 3 wraps that I put around the entire 6 wires, formerly 3. There we go. Okay, so now I can start working what I really want to do. So at this point, this one is the shortest, the one in the center. So that's going to be my base wire for going down, as to where the other 2 seem to be a bit longer, and these are my wires on the back side. So what I'm going to do is let's start making a little bit of a spreaded weave. Which allows me to spread this out a bit. And again, since this wire is not dead soft, it is a little harder to work with. 2. Knock my stone off the table. 3. Okay, so we're going to pull this back up this way. Do 2 turns. Anchor that in. I'm getting another kink. Again, if you can get dead soft wire, please do. This is not working out so well for me. Fix that kink. Flatten it out. There we go. And we'll go back under the center one again. Gonna route that twice. Over. 2, 3. Let up as tight as we can. One, 2. So I'm just gonna keep going with this. 3. As you notice, I have a little bit of a pull on my wires because of how sturdy this is. Again, it's kind of interesting how different types of wire, as far as gauges and different strengths of the wire, play a factor in what you design in your final project. Okay, so now I have this little bit of a, I like to call it a spider web weave because it pulls apart, as you can see, which is really nice because that'll work nicely with the stone. So now it meets the outside of the stone perimeter, which is kind of what I'm looking for, but alright, so let's make a design out of this. So let's take this piece here. We're gonna make a loop like so. Let's make, actually that'll work. Take that and bend that back out. Then I'm gonna take my wire because I finished it on this side, it's not on that side. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to wrap through that little loop that I just made. And this wire is a little cumbersome to work with. There we go, finally. So I have that through the little loop there. I'm gonna wrap this around and put it through again. Not too much trouble that time, thank goodness. But it is getting on my back pieces. Get out of there. We'll do one more. As you notice, I always seem to wrap in threes when I secure things, just to make sure they're secured and good to go. I think the next one I do is going to be with a softer wire for wrapping. Okay, so now we have that secured. So since we're already over here, we're going to skip going to the outer wire. I'm just going to come back over here. 1, 2, 3. But I also want to start bending this wire back in as well. So I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. Just make a design. And we're just going to make a little loop there as well. So, hold that tight. And push it back out. So it's kind of a heart shape, but it's oblong, which is kind of cool. I like it. Okay, so we'll go back over here. We'll go through looping once again. Just secure the other loop. This way. Usually when I'm making my designs too, I really don't plan them out. I don't know if a lot of other people who make jewelry plan things out as far as like putting a design on paper and going from there. I've done that in the past and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I go by my instinct really about when I make jewelry, about how to do it. Okay, now this got a little, this did not go the way I wanted it to, so let's pull that back out. Probably because I did it overlapping, which wouldn't surprise me. It's kind of wire. That's better. Okay. This around again. Okay, we're gonna go one more time. This time I'm not going through the loop, I'm just gonna go on the outside of it. Just to give it something a little different. when you're making jewelry, you don't have to have everything perfect. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go to this side. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this one. 2, 3. We'll go back to the center. 1, 2, 3. I have another problem. Again, if you use dead soft wire, and I'm saying this with emphasis on dead soft, you usually don't have the kinking problem that I'm having. And many, many, many people that make jewelry can verify that. There, so I'm going to go to the bottom. Pull everything together. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'm going to do this one more time. 1, 2. 2, 3. Okay. So now we have a nice design in sterling silver. And I don't really want to cover the whole stone because it is a very, very beautiful stone as far as clear quartz is concerned. Usually if stones have like a fog look up here, I'll try to cover that part because it's not so pretty. But this whole stone is crystal clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stone back in here really quick. And I'm going to take this from behind and wrap this 2, 3. And I'm going to move this to the back. I'm going to do the same with this side. Move it to the back. And then I'm just going to take the center piece here, since I have it molded with my stone. I'm just going to wrap this continuously till I feel that it will be okay to wrap around the bottom. That would give me an anchor point around the bottom of the stone as well. And I'm not really counting since I'm just using one particular base wire. Okay, let's go ahead and measure our stone really quick. That's pretty much the point. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is hold my stone in place. I'll show the side or the front that I want. Should I do this side? Okay, so I'm going to hold my stone into place, and I'm going to move these pieces in the back down over the back of the stone. Move these side wires that I just bent over the back, like so, okay? So now that kind of secures my stone, not entirely, but for the most part it does. And then what I'm going to do here is take the 2 outside pieces and bring them to the front around this piece. Keeping the center piece where it is, or center wire where it is. And now you can see I have those two wires around that particular piece. So what I'll do now is, while I'm holding this in place, is I'm going to go underneath all three wires. Oops. I'll try that again. Go underneath all three wires. Okay, third time's the charm. Let's hope. Go underneath all three wires. There we go. Yay! Okay, pull that tight. And I'm going to go under them one more time. And as I mentioned before, third time's the charm. Let's do number 3. Here we go. Okay, so that's 3 times around all 3 wires, and you can see my hand is really suffering. Pulls it up nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create spirals with these 2 wires at the base, and now I can take this one and bend it back. Okay. So now we have still kind of a hot mess in front of us, but that's to be expected when you're doing this sort of thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just take one of these, bend it out a little bit, cut it off. And I hate to waste wire, especially expensive wire like this, but it is what it is. And I'm going to make a spiral out of this. And this is going to tighten everything from the bottom of the pendant. As you can see, it's getting tight there. Which at that point I can let go, but I'm also putting a little bit of security at the point as well. So let's take the other one. We're going to do the same thing. Hold that wire in place the best that you can. Bend that out. We're going to clip this one off too. Hopefully about the same length. Make another spiral out of this. Now they don't have to be exactly identical. And that's why we call this handmade jewelry. Is because everything is not exactly as symmetrical as if you were walking to a jewelry shop and buy a piece of jewelry from a jeweler. That's what makes wrapping jewelry unique, but also time consuming. Okay, so now I have my 2 little spirals there, and I'm gonna bend this one a little bit. Side, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to go through this one more time, but not going through loops. Run them through those two. Out. We'll do that again. What this is doing is actually evening out those two wires that I brought from the back to the front. I'm going to go through all three this time. Okay. So that's good to go. Now this still is not in there perfectly. It's still wobbling a little bit. So let's try to move this in there closely and maneuver the front part around the stone like so. Alrighty. So now we still have this long wire in the back. So what I'm going to do is take this, and this is the front wire, this short little piece here. I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to wrap this around that front piece of wire just a couple times. Yeah. And then I'm going to place this into the back. And I'm going to make a spiral, or a loop at least, to secure it in place. It needs to be flattened out. It's a little sharp. Yeah, that's better. And now I have the option to design the back. So I'm just going to take this wire and I'm just going to pull it through back of the base up here. Not the actual bale, just the back of the base. And secure that in. After wrapping it around one time. Go. Make sure that is in there so it doesn't stick anybody. There we go. Okay, so now the other two wires that I brought around from the front, now I have the option to design. I also have the leftover little tail from the front as well. So, what I'm going to do here is take the shorter wire, bring that over the top, and now I've got that secured in. You could do the same with the other one. Take this one, bring it over the top. You secure the other side in from the front. And then since we don't have that much design going on back here, and I don't have much left to use on the shorter one, I'm just going to go ahead and tuck it. In place. This little loop. And then this one, hopefully I can make a little decorative spiral out of it. Shouldn't be too hard. Definitely getting a little antsy on me. Yep, it's not looking like it's gonna go anywhere. Come on now, work with me. Even if you don't create an actual spiral, per se, you can make a triangle, you can make a hexagon, you can make whatever the heck you want to make, as far as jewelry is concerned. But this is the back, so I wasn't really planning on this to becoming anything intricate, as far as that's concerned. But doesn't help to have something on the back to secure everything in place. There we go. Okay, so I still have this little tail. So what I'm going to do, for safety and measure of the person that buys my jewelry, is to take this and pull it through here, since this is a longer piece. And I could have cut that shorter, but I didn't. That's okay. I'm going to take that through the loop. Now I have it too tight. So, just going to wrap that around to secure it in place a few times. Okay, so that's not going anywhere. I'm going to go around this way. We'll just take this up through here to secure it off. There we go. So I'm just going to cut this piece and secure this in underneath other loops that I created. Spirals. Okay, so this is the back side. Again, it's not anything intricate. It's just basic. But now I have an option to add a little bit of structure in the back. So I'm going to move these wires out a little bit. Like so. So everything is secured here and it's secured up here. I'm expanding this so it doesn't move in the back. So now that stone is in there very secure. It's not going anywhere. So this would be the final product of my wrap today. So there we have it. Very beautiful clear quartz or luminary quartz wrapped in solid sterling silver wire. So a little bit of a hassle. But hey, you know what? It was worth it. It was fun. I like it. I love wrapping jewelry, so this makes everything even better once somebody purchases it and my jewelry finds a home permanently. So let's go ahead and straighten this out a bit since I am selling this. Just make sure it's even, Steven, all the way around. Go. Alright, there we go. I'll finish. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be sometime very soon. Take care. Bye.